Okay, so I'm going to be narrating this part, or most of this movie. This is South in the 1770s. This is a slave trader and now a slave owner, and they probably got him from the Middle Passage. And there they go to do some slave work, like slaves should do. There, and there's the slave owner being mean and stuff, kicking that slave. Yeah. So these are the slaves keeping alive their musical, dance, and storytelling traditions, as the book says. And a lot of slaves try to run away and revolt, but eventually that just freaked out the southern colonists, and they had to tighten those slave laws. So yeah, that was the South. So the North had less slavery, but there was slavery and racism. Some people get that wrong. It's just that the cash crops that the North produced, like wheat, corn, tobacco, and rice, needed less slave labor than the South. And the North colonies also produced several cash crops instead of just one, like the South. So trade really made the port cities expand. The South only had the port city Charlestown, while the North had Boston, New York, and Philadelphia. A lot of colonists became rich fast, especially merchants and traders.
Oh my goodness.
Trade is actually what made the North and South so different. The North was very commercial.
She ripped me up.
So in the 1700s, the Enlightenment happened, and it began with the first discoveries about the natural world, like the heliocentric theory and other observations of reason.
Hold up your book more, Jade.
So people started having these ideas about the world being ruled by mathematical law instead of by God, and that was the start of the Enlightenment. Thomas Jefferson was one of those people who were influenced by the Enlightenment and reasoned that people were born with natural rights, and eventually colonists used these ideas to start questioning the authority of the British monarchy. The Great Awakening also happened during the 1700s when the Puritans lost some of their power, and they tried to regain their powers by trying to restore the traditional dedication of the early Puritan church. The Great Awakening lasted throughout the 1730s and 1750s and restored a lot of Christian faith. But more importantly, it made people question traditional authority, and like the Enlightenment, it emphasized the idea of being an individual, which created an atmosphere that eventually led to the American Revolution. So the French were on relatively peaceful terms, meaning they had managed to avoid conflict with the British for about 6 years before the French and Indian War, which was actually the fourth war between Great Britain and France for North America. France had set up Fort Duquesne in the Ohio River Valley, even though the Virginia government had issued that land to rich planters, so they tried to evict the French from that area. This was the start of the French and Indian War. The British kept losing, and Washington, who had proved himself to be this great leader, had 4 bullets go through his coat, but he was unharmed. Eventually, everyone started losing morale, until King George II selected William Pitt to run his government in 1757, and the troops finally started winning some battles. Then the British attacked the French in a surprise attack and won the war. But the war officially ended with the Treaty of Paris, which was signed in 1763. If you look on page 38 of your textbook, which I know you'll be too lazy to turn to, so here's a picture, you'll see the British gaining the land east of the Mississippi River, and the rest belonged to Spain. That was basically the Treaty of Paris. So what happened to the Native Americans? Well, they were pretty angry for the growing number of British settlers, so they started basically like pranking each other. Like, first the Native Americans would capture the British forts, then the British would give them smallpox-infested blankets, stuff like that. Okay, what are you doing here, sitting here reading a book inside on this lovely evening? What did you say? You have smallpox? Oh, if that's the case, whoops, please cough on this blanket. Cough on it, please. Please make it more obvious that you cough on it. Thank you. What is that book? Excuse me, I think that's my fort right here.
Mine.
It says British fort right there. Can you not read English?
No, I can't. I'm Native American.
Oh, you don't have a language to write with these.
Okay,
Okay, whatever. You seem cold, actually.
Actually, why don't you have this blanket? Isn't it cold with that vest? Your arms are so naked.
I am cold.
Here's this blanket.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You enjoy that blanket.
Thank you.
You enjoy that blanket. Yeah, you like it? You like it? So nice and warm. Nice.
So good. I like it.
Yeah, you like it. Get out of my fork. Get out, please.
And that's basically it for section 4 of chapter 1 of your textbook.
No.
So, the rabbit had a trick that he could show the coyote, and he said, "Ole, ole, ha!" And his eyes flew on top of his head, his eyes flew on top of the head, and they landed on a branch, and he could see the coyote and the rabbit talking overhead. And he said, "Come here, Eyes, come here, come here." And Eyes came back and flew into his head. And the coyote said, "Show me the trick, show me the trick, show me the trick." And the rabbit said, "No, no, no, he's not showing me the trick." And he said, "Come show me the trick, come show me the trick." And he asked 4 times. And on the 4th time, the rabbit said, "Okay, I'll show you the trick."